Let's check this out.
Indians invented shampoo.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Khan. All right. Hey, shalom, Akim. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm doing a little test run. All right, with this new app, Restream, that the brother hooked me up with through the spirit, and hopefully it kind of goes well. Just want to make a first, my first lesson, and using share screen and all that. So let's see how it goes through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemel Shah. Let me know if you can hear me. So just give me a few seconds. Like I said, I'm trying to get still getting used to this new system. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Shalom. Hey, Shalom, Aki. Hey, Yabashakta, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, brother. I just, like I said, just trying to get this screen, share screen. Because I usually do lives on my phone, but Spirit wanted me to kind of just pull up my old laptop. So, yeah, it looks like we good, man. Looks like we good. Shalom. Yeah. All right. Well, shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, B'chakodash. I give it double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom and salutation to all you sincere acting across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasam God from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, B'chakodash, the video elect. So like again, it seems like I'm all over the place. I just set up this new office, and again, what I wanted to go into today, right quick, I want to touch on something that basically just came out, more of the Epstein files, and the reference between Epstein files and Baal, all right, the demon god, or so-called god deity, Baal. Of course, as we know, this particular spirit on the left-hand side is spoken of in the Bible. And, now it's being revealed that Esau's system, right, his whole economical system, social structure, is all pushed by spiritual entities on the left-hand side, principalities, demons, all right? And it's being revealed. Why? Because we're living in the last days, all right? So the prophets are here, all right? The nation of Israel is awakening, beginning with the elect, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, Judah, so-called African American, on down to Issachar, so-called Mexican. The 144,000 is talking about 12,000 men from each tribe, spoken of in the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter. All right, and the remaining of the 1/3 is the multitude of men, women, and children that believe in Yahweh Bashim El Shai. All right, Khan. All right, so now, everything is coming. Everything that was done in the dark is coming to the light, and this is the work of the Lord. All right, because you still have Israelites that trust in this man's system, and they call upon Jesus, and they see the dollar, and the dollar says, "In God we trust." Well, the God in the dollar is Baal. All right, it's Baal Barith. It's an ancient so-called deity. They're from the Canaanites, ancient Canaanites. Also, the Philistines used Moloch, the owl of Moloch. The Canaanites called him Baal. All right, also known as the god of the community. All right. So now let's read just a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to try to make this really long because this is my first time using this system. So hopefully, Lord willing, it goes well. This is off of the WION, and it states Epstein files, JP Morgan wire transfer sparks online occult, right? Occult claims over Baal reverence. The occult it means it means hidden, right? The hidden arts of sorcery. All right, those are hidden. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can look up the word. Let's go to Edom Online right quick. Let's look up this word etymology. Nah, let me just go to Edom Online. All right, let's look up the word the occult. Make sure I type that right correctly. Just bear with me. This thing is transferring a lot of. Guess I can't have too many windows open at the same time. All right, so. All right, so Edom Online, the occult means secret, not divulged. All right, it says cover, hidden. All right, like I stated, it's hidden, concealed. All right, so the occult, it says to keep secret, concealed. So you have people doing, especially the rich and the powerful in this society, beginning with the Rothschilds, which Rothschild is actually mentioned in one of those files, one of those Epstein files. You can see an email of one of the Rothschilds speaking with Epstein. So you see a lot of traffic, commerce that goes on in the United States. You need to understand everything that goes on in the system, whether it be the educational system, the economical system, political system. Every system that's set up is based on the occult. It's based on the hidden art of sorcery, of witchcraft. All right. So now it's being revealed. Why? Because Babylon the Great is being brought naked. All right. It's being exposed to the world and primarily to Israel, to the Israelites that still want to hold on to Babylon. You need to understand, if you hold on to Babylon, you basically holding on to Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, and his representative, which are the Edomites, the so-called white race. They are the Edomites, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So of course, behind closed doors, when they do their transactions, when they do their deeds, they might show up to you and talk about Jesus this and Jesus that, and the Bible and Christianity. But at the end of the day, when they make their deals in this society, guess what? It's done through witchcraft. All right, so it's very important to understand that. That's why we wholeheartedly reject this society as prophets. You know what I'm saying? We expose this to our people. It says, this is a story highlights 2009 JP Morgan wire transfer documents from Epstein's files has gone viral over a Baal reference, fueling occult claims online. Here's what the document shows, and why it raised red flags and how misinformation spreads. Whatever. It says one specific facts from Epstein's file, which is a wire transfer document associated with JP Morgan, is being circulated online with claims of occult symbolisms tied to Epstein. The Epstein case is still shrouded in secrecy and has eroded the trust of individuals and powerful institutions. All right. It already has the elements that breaks the moral authority society, the moral authority society, by exploiting weakest, and vulnerable with tendencies of elite protection. Right. That's why Trump is not exposing them, because they're all a part of it. The left, right, Democrats, Republicans, they're all a part of it. All right. Trump don't want to expose that because he knows that's going to bring down all these different systems, not only the Babylonian government, but also all the governments across the world. All right. Especially in the Western Hemisphere, You need to understand the leaders of the Western Hemisphere, these Edomites and these nations, they're all freaks, all right? They're all freaks and warlocks, all right? They all indulge in pedophilia. Um, they're necromancer, all right? They're necromancer, which meaning what? They do sexual deeds with the dead bodies. They cannibalists. So the powerful elites have a different set of mind. They have a different mindset that they know cannot be exposed to the average individual. The average individual is going crazy right now just reading some of the things that's being read, that was being talked about in the Epstein files, such as cannibalism, um, performing surgeries and DNA testing, all kinds of wild shit, man. All right. Of course, the grape empire was definitely always a part of it. Code names in those files, you have code names for pizza, code names like whitefish, all kinds of wild shit. Which they talking about people, all right? Women, young boys, as young as 3, 4, 5 years old, all right, being taken advantage. So what spirit is behind that is of course it's a spiritual demon, Satan. But even in transactions, it shows, all right, that who they deal with is Satan, all right, and that's why ultimately when they upgrade the currency from the dollar to the MOTB, the mark of the beast, the scripture tells you the number of the beast, right? The number that's going to be allocated to that currency, to the New World Order's currency, the mark of the beast. That number is what? It's 666. All right, Casa stigma. All right, so we need to understand that this is the real world, man. Wake up and smell the coffee. This is the real world, man. All right, witchcraft is always, it's not just a dark magic from the dark races, because every time you talk about witchcraft, you always think about all the so-called black races, Africans, and so on and so forth, Hispanics. Nah, man. Esau Edom is a master at witchcraft. He just knows how to put a suit on it. All right, so now let's get to Baal right quick. As a matter of fact, because that particular demon has been amongst the nation of Israel, and that demon is a demon that the first thing that's required is child sacrifice. That's the reason why you notice in the Epstein files more so about children being sacrificed, babies, young girls, young boys. Whether you actually sacrifice them, meaning kill them, or destroy their souls by violating them, because when you violate children, you basically already kill them. All right, their personality is going to be shaped around all the shit that was done to them when they were children. All right, so they're basically destroyed. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 11, verse 1. The subtitle, the broken covenant. All right, so Israel broke the covenant, law, statutes, commandments, and one of the things that Israel did was worship other gods. This is Jeremiah 11 and 1. It says, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, hear ye the words of this covenant, and speak unto the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. All right, the men of Judah at that particular time in the land of Israel was referring to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. All right, because at that time, the northern tribe, the so-called Hispanic tribe, had already left Israel and were already on their way, or already in the Americas. Now, verse 3, it says, and say thou unto them, thus saith the Lord, power of Israel, Yahweh Shemel Shah, cursed be the man that obeyeth not the words of this covenant, which I commanded your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, from the iron furnace, all right, the iron furnace, saying, obey my voice, and to them, according to all which I command you, so shall ye be my people, and I will be your power. All right, well, the iron furnace, not only is the iron furnace symbolic for captivity, all right, slavery, because it was hot as fuck over there in Egypt, and we were slaving we were slaving out. We was slave for 400 years in Egypt. It tells you that in Genesis. But also, there was a lot of things that was going on in Egypt that Israel was involved in. Dealing with the actual iron furnace. Um, this is verse 5. It says, that I may perform the oath which I have sworn unto your fathers, to give them a land flowing with milk and honey, as it is this day. Then answered I and said, so be it, Lord. All right, the land of milk and honey is the land of Israel. All right, that's the land of milk and honey. And the word milk, the statement milk and honey, it's not talking about actual milk and honey. It's talking about prosperity. All right, good vibes, chemistry, righteousness. That's what milk and honey is. It's prosperity, righteousness. Um, Verse 6, it says, then the Lord said unto me, proclaim all these words in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, saying, hear ye the words of this covenant and do them. Verse 7, for I earnestly protested unto your fathers in the day that I brought them up out of the land of Egypt, even unto this day, rising early and protesting, saying, obey my voice. All right, so Israel, we were delivered out of the Egyptians, the captivity of Egypt, brought into the wilderness. And the Lord was constantly telling, Jake to stop worshiping idols, because Jake did not stop worshiping idols even when we were being delivered. You had a lot of Israelites that carried with them those idols. They put them in their bags, and they were still worshiping these idols in the cut while in their tents. That's why there was a lot of murmuring, because you can't serve two gods. And one token, Jake would be outside in the open and see the chariots and praise the Lord. But then when Jake would be in his tent, Jake would pull out the idols and worship those idols. So your mind as an Israelite, right? You can't serve two masters. You're gonna hate one, you're gonna love one and hate the other. That's why there was a lot of murmuring in Israel. Because Jake didn't know what God to trust. That's why you have to, be focused and just trusting Yahweh Shema Shah, and that's it. Verse 8, yet they obey not, nor incline their ear, but walked everyone in the imagination of their evil heart. Therefore I will bring upon them all the words of this covenant which I commanded them to do. But they did them not. All right, so Israel didn't follow. Keep going. And the Lord said unto me, a conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Verse 10. Like it. Verse 10, they are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, all right, which refused to hear my words, and they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel, meaning so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and natives, the house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I had made with their fathers. Therefore, there saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. Then shall the cities of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem go and cry unto the gods unto whom they offer incense, but they shall not save them at all in the time of their trouble. Now let's get to the point right here. Verse 13. For according, this is the accusation that the Lord puts on Israel, which was factual. All right, Israel was doing this. For according to the number of their cities were their gods. All right, so Israel had multiple deities, all right, that they worship. O Judah, and according to the numbers of the streets of Jerusalem, have ye set up altars to that shameful thing. So what is that shameful thing? It says even altars to burn incense to Baal. That shameful thing, meaning amongst all these different deities, one of them really stood out. That means this is a particular deity that all of Israel that was going off had, right? So because you have multiple deities, and but there was always a common deity in Israel, a false deity, false god was Baal Barith. So you talk about Baal, let's look this up. As we know, this is Baal right here. That's that shameful thing, Baal. Right? Now let's go to let's go back. Make sure. All right, so let's look up Baal right quick. And again, this thing, we've known about this thing for years, man. We've known about it for years. We've known about the witchcraft, the hidden witchcraft behind Esau's system. It's just that now the quote unquote normies are waking up to it, and they can't, and they're like, yo, what the hell is this? Well, it is what it is. It is what it's always been. Every system, every organization, every society is always built and kept by a certain deity. The deity that created the world, the deity that sets up the culture of Israel, his name, or their name is Yahweh Ba'ashib Yahweh Shah. That's the deity that is setting up the government of Israel. The deity behind Edom Esau is the spiritual demon Satan and all his arch demons and lower level demons. One of the arch demons is Baal, the spirit of Baal, right? The principality. See, Baal means Lord, supreme male divinity of the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians are Canaanites, right? The Canaanites are who? The Canaanites are today's modern day, what you call South Africans. But at that time, Canaan, aka the South Africans, lived in the Middle East. The South Africans actually came from Ham. Ham came from Noah in the Middle East. So the land of Canaan, which today is called the land of Israel, it was back then it was called the land of Canaan because that was the land that the Phoenicians, aka Canaanites, aka South Africans, they lived in that land. But that land was promised to Jacob. So therefore, in the time of Joshua, we went down there and basically took the land and killed them, killed most of them, and kicked out the rest of them. Kicked out. All right, so that's the history. You have to go into the book of Genesis to know that. So it says right there, supreme male divinity of the Phoenicians and Canaanites. All right. So Baal is known for what? Let's go to Jeremiah 19. Jeremiah 19, the broken jar. Thus saith the Lord, go and get a potter's earthen bottle and take of the ancient of the people and of the ancient of the priest, and go forth into the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the word that I shall tell thee. Verse 3, and say, hear ye the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. They saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, behold, I will bring evil upon this place, the which whosoever heareth, his ears shall tingle. And part of the evil was the captivity, not only the being slaves under the Babylonians, ancient Babylonians, aka Ethiopians, but also when Babylon got ransacked by the Persians and the Medes, we went into that captivity. And a lot of Israelites got put to death in the midst of that transition. All right. Verse 4. Because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burned incense in it unto other gods. When you burn incense, the ancient way of burning incense, as we know, is literally burning incense. But the modern way of burning incense is devoting your time and, devoting your time into something. If you devote your time into money, whatever you devote all your precious time to and put your energy into, that is what you burn incense to. So you don't necessarily have to get on your knees as a dumb Negro and call upon Baal, but if you put all your energy and worship the system, you're basically burning incense to the system, to Baal. It says, have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents. Well, what's the blood of innocents? Who are those innocents? Verse 5, they have built also the high places of Baal, right? That filthy thing that the Lord talked about in Jeremiah 11. They have built also the high place of Baal to burn his sons with fire for burnt offering unto Baal. So child sacrifice. All right, the blood of innocence, child sacrifice. That is one of the main things that you have to do with Baal. That's why Epstein, a lot of that Epstein stuff was about child sacrifice. Violating children at the young age, destroying their souls, and actually killing them too. So that was a part of that. Israel did that. All right. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans did that. For your own selfish ambitions and greed back in the ancient times. You sacrifice your firstborn child, whatever. You sacrifice him. You threw him in the iron furnace for your own greed. All right. Let's say you wanted a great harvest. Some of you wicked Israelites wanted a great harvest because you wanted what the Lord had gave you was not enough. You wanted to be the big dog in Israel, so you wanted a great harvest. So you will sacrifice your child, your firstborn child, son or daughter, throw them in the furnace, hear the scream of the child burn alive, and guess what? A lot of y'all will actually have you would have a reward from the spiritual demon Satan. You would have a great harvest, and you would spread that disease, right, of idol worship amongst Israel, and say, well, look, you guys are worshiping Yahweh Bashim Shah. You'll be like, Jacob be like, well, I worship Yahweh Bashim Shah too, but the reason why I got riches, the reason why I'm winning, the reason why I stand out is because I got this guy and I do this and I do that and I sacrifice my child and this is the reward. And a lot of other wicked Israelites would buy into that, 2/3, and they would do the same thing. So that they spread that mentality, that demonic mentality, spread across the nation of Israel. And Jeremiah and the prophets had to deal with that. Until this day, right? We deal with what? Child sacrifice, abortion. We've known that. This is something that's been revealed. The whole world at this point, we've known this for decades, that abortion was child sacrifice, the spirit of Molech and Baal. We've known that for decades. It's just now the people have caught on to it. They know now that abortion is child sacrifice. It's the spirit of it's offering to Baal, all right, and the owl of Molech. So the witchcraft is being exposed. All right, Israel did that in the ancient times, and we got judged. And the price to pay for that was slavery. The ultimate price that we paid for was slavery. And even right now, we're in captivity under the Edomites in Babylon the Great, and not women primarily, but it's not just the women. The Israelite women, beginning with the so-called black women, the so-called black women on record commits the highest level of abortion on the entire planet Earth. You can look that up. These are not hidden numbers. And then you have the Hispanic woman is right behind her, and then you have the white woman, the Edomite woman is right there. So those are the top 3 women on the planet that sacrifice their children to Baal Barith. The so-called black women, the so-called Hispanic women, and the so-called white women, Edomite women. All right, so this is happening. And then you have the men that also play a part in it, because a lot of these women, you can't put all the blame on the women. A lot of these women, I've heard stories, I've dealt with women when they told me, man, listen, they told their ex, like, listen, I'm pregnant. And the man would be like, well, I got $500. We got to handle that. All right. This needs to be handled. I've had women, hit me up and say, well, I think that I might, I'm late with the rule and all that. And, I think you should just give me the money. If that's the case, give me the money to handle it. I'm like, what the fuck is you talking about? I was spaz out. First of all, those conversations would take place on text messages, so I can keep that as a record that you believe that you might be pregnant just because you're late. And then you talking about how I should come up with the money. I'm like, man, I don't get down like that. So first, I'm like, man, listen, first, let's wait and see if you're pregnant. If you are, we're keeping the child, and we keep that on record. Because in this society, the woman, in a gynocentric society, Esau is given the power of women to either keep your child or kill it. There's nothing you can really do about it. But at least I was like, man, I gotta have that shit on the record that if you are pregnant, I'm definitely want the child. If you kill it, that's on you. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? But then it would come out that, hey, nah, she was just late or whatever. But now so you were just late, cool. Never ever talk to me again. I never want to see you ever again. Blocked. But I still keep the receipts. That's one thing about me. I keep receipts, man. It's a devilish world, man. Hey, shalom to you. Yeah, about like that, about that. Lobo, and I'm read some of those precepts. Let me go to because I didn't think it was gonna be this long, but I guess I'm getting used to this a little bit, so that's cool. So now let's go to Isaiah 47. Let's conclude with Isaiah 47. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Lament for Babylon. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. All right. The virgin daughter of Babylon is talking about the U.S. It says, sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans were priest class. The priest class of Edom, Esau, today, that they call the Chaldeans the Rothschilds. Everything they do is after they receive advice from the spiritual demon Satan. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Verse 2. Take thy millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Meaning get naked. Babylon is going through a shameful ritual of nakedness. That's why all these things are being exposed right now. And the more these things are being exposed, the more the nation's confidence that they used to have in Babylon, that confidence is dropping, and they realize, oh shit, there's something happening to Babylon. And what's happening is that this is the fall of the empire. All right. Verse 3, it says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Right? The Epstein files is part of Esau's nakedness. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So Yahushua said, I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Now let's scroll down to verse 9. It says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children, meaning when the thermonuclear missiles hit in the climax of the Third World War, when the nukes hit this place, America is going to suffer this. Verse 9, it says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. All right. So the sorcery is the Baal, the Baphomet, Beelzebub, all these different demon deities that are sustaining this system. All right. Verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Right? So Epstein, they're making transactions. They have names in their transaction with Baal, and they're like, hey, these people don't know. They're living large and doing foul and abominable shit. And then to the average man, this is just transaction. It's trades. The scripture tells you, man, that sin sticketh closer between buying and selling. Meaning there's righteousness and there's wickedness in what? In trade. You can't just say, well, the economy and trade has nothing to do with spirituality. Trade and commerce is goes hand in hand with spirituality. Your commerce, the success in your commerce is tied to your belief, to the God that you worship. People are not just randomly just rich like that. They usually have to believe and bow to a certain power, and then the commerce and the trade and the flow and the motion. Now they start to get motion because there's a power that's behind them. So you can't separate the two, man. You can't do that. All right. Verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it has perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. All right. So the pride of Esau is really why he keeps on doing this thing, and he thinks that, it's not going to be stopped. Verse 11, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. All right. But we're going to finish with verse 12. Stand now in thine enchantment, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. All right. So Esau has been a warlock from his youth. All right. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. But the witchcraft is not going to prevail because Yahushua is coming as a force. All right, Yahushua is coming as a force, and he's going to shut this shit down, man. But that's basically the lesson for the day. I'm gonna stop right there. Like I said, this is really I was supposed to really do like a test run. You know, that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to do like a test run to kind of see how I go, but the spirit just said, man, F it, just hop on that joint. If you make a mistake, brothers will give you grace, man. Like I said, I haven't been doing lessons. I actually never done a lesson like this with the share screen. This is my first time ever. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to like the old school way, but you got to get with the times, man. Got to get with the times to the spirit. So, I know it's a comment here that the brother had. Let me see. I could actually read it on my phone, man. This app is cool, man. And shalom to you, apps like that, Dash, brother. I'm gonna read the last few precepts that you had on. You know, shalom to you, Ashba. Um, Leviticus 21, it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Leviticus 22, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel or of the strangers that sojourn in. Verse 4, and if the people, and verse 4, and if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, that's right, and kill him not, his people, and kill him not, his people, sanctify yourselves therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Lord your power. Yeah, so, you know, the Egyptians called him the Molech, the Canaanites called him Baal, you know, and basically it's ultimately about child sacrifice for greed, for personal success and glory. That's a demonic activity. As far as us Israelites, that's idol worship. You know what I'm saying? And it's really, really despicable. But, you know, Israel did it. All the nations have done it. Esau now is the one that's really pushing it to the fullest. And the hopeful elected, you know, and not being deceived. You know, we see what's going on. We just got to prepare, man, because the Lord is exposing before he destroys. He has to expose. He can't just destroy Babylon and people sitting there wonder, why would you just destroy Babylon? He has to show proof as to why, you know, Babylon needed to be destroyed. So all these things have to be exposed and come out to the light. So hopefully you were edified with this lesson, as well as our words to the spirit. Like I said, this kind of was a little trial run. I think next time I'm gonna be more prolific to the spirit at this, you know, these doing the lesson this way. When I get, you know, some time to like sit and really focus. Then I still do my lesson on the phone when I'm out and about, you know what I'm saying, ripping and running through the spirit. So with that, I'm gonna say Karhalam La Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushua Ba'Shem Kakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of great millstone and shalom and salutation to all you sincere Akim, of course, for winds pushing his truth for sincerity of heart. The Son of God from the DC camp. Shalom.